People sometimes ask me if I became the Ron Van Dam Show announcer because I love what Ron does and I love his comedy. Well, no. It's because Ron broke me out of a Tijuana prison back in '82 and smuggled me across the border in a suitcase in the trunk of a Yugo. And I still owe him for that. Muchas gracias, mi amigo. You're listening to The Ron Van Dam Show on New England Broadcasting.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Thank you very much.
Hold on tight. Things can get a bit weird if you like that sort of thing.
Hey, welcome to the program. How are you? Make yourself comfortable. I got an interesting show for you today. I do. Oh yes, I do. I just said I did. I hate it when people argue with me and the show hasn't even really begun yet. I do have an interesting show. Sit down, and I'm going to do it for you now. God, so obstinate. What a life we lead in a constructive manner, hopefully. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. My guest today is going to lay it all out on the table for you. Hey, here's what happened. Donald Trump got elected as president again. Now he's going to go down the history books as being president twice, and not in consecutive terms. It's like, what happened there? It's like he's like blowing the minds of historians. What the hell's going on here? Well, that's just an indication of how everything's off the charts. The foundation is cracked. The charts are all over the place. And here we sit in this endurance time. It's like being in a car, driving down the road. The brakes don't work anymore. So hold on. Let's see where we end up. It's that kind of thing for me. These days, politics and the administration, it's kind of like a magician, where something's going on the stage, but I've got a shiny object that I'm going to dangle in front of your eyes, and immediately you look at the shiny object, and while you're doing that, the magician is like changing everything on the side, and you're not noticing it. That's pretty much what's going on. It's a magic act. Politics is a game of manipulation, and we unfortunately are the targets and the victims of those things. Not that that hasn't gone on forever in politics, for centuries, but now the craft seems to be actually more polished and Houdini-ish. It's an interesting situation. You know, here's what I'm doing. Oh no, look over there. And while you're looking over there, they start sneaking stuff in over here, and then you look back and you don't even know they snuck it in. There was an agenda that was put together by the Heritage people. We'll get into that a little bit later in the show. It's called Project 2025. The Democratic Party warned you against it, but I think the American public just got tired of being warned against things. Like, stop warning me. Well, here we sit today where the things we were being warned about are actually taking place in a very orchestrated manner, so that's not all dumped on us at once. It's infiltrating into everything at a pretty good pace, actually. But we got the shiny objects in play. Look over here while I do something over here. While you're not looking over here, look over there. And that's what we're talking about today. My guest coming up rather quickly here, because we're doing an extended interview, is Michael Bedenbough. And he's a historian. And he's been involved in looking at things like this for quite some time. He's very involved in the community, even ran for office. very intelligent man. And we're going to kind of like lift the shade up on what's actually happening. And I think you'll be astounded. Although, interestingly enough, it was all on paper. It was called Project 25. It still is Project 2025. It's a very thick binder of agenda for what is going to be totally changed in this country. Yeah, it's actually what came out in print ahead of time. And in many press conferences, Donald Trump was asked when he was running for president again, he says, "Are you familiar with 2025 and its agenda?" And he said, "No, I haven't read it." Well, that would be the answer to everything, because Donald doesn't typically read. He just acts upon what he hears from other people. I heard yesterday that, and so I'm going to act upon that. As a matter of fact, if Trump actually, when he leaves office, if that ever happens, if there's a Trump library, that will be an oxymoron, sarcastically ridiculous situation, because there wouldn't be a book in there that I don't even think he wrote the book that he says he wrote, or certainly never read it. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, that's not the point of this. My guest will tell you the point. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to get right into this. Pay attention. It's interesting no matter how you feel about anything. I think you'll find this interesting. But first, there's this.
Looking to try somewhere new for dinner tonight? Come to that bar near your house with a new chef out on work release, ready to tempt your taste buds with delicious specials. Start off with deep-fried meat and cheese things, crispy on the outside and nearly warm on the inside, with a house-made dipping sauce that's almost certainly just mayonnaise and ketchup. How about a pepperoni pizza served hot and fresh out of the supermarket? Or the big quarter-pound hamburger cooked just the way you like it, as long as the way you like it is well done or inedibly raw. Order a local craft beer from a wide selection that includes IPAs, and of course, IPAs. And when you're ready for dessert, the bartender can point you to some place that actually does that kind of thing. Ready for dinner? Head to that bar near your house. Not too far to drive, just a little too far to walk. We'll see you there.
Michael Bedenbough joins us now. He's got some interesting things to talk about, which we frequently talk about on this program. Many people are familiar with Project 2025, at least they should have been. There's possibly something we can do about that and update it just a bit in a different direction. Thanks for being with us, Michael.
Thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate you having me.
This is Reviving Our Republic, 95 Thesis for the Future of America. This is, I'm going to ask you directly, people should be familiar with the 2025, Project 2025. It was talked about frequently, yet it didn't seem to make an impact one way or the other. Yet it's starting to show and rear its ugly head. Am I accurate here?
Yeah, it's making its impact now.
Yeah.
So my book, which is Reviving Our Republic, I actually wrote over the past 3 years as I led up to running for Congress in my district as an independent.
Oh.
And when that came out, I saw the hints of what Project 2025 was, which was basically a cadre of insiders from Trump's first administration that realized the efficiency of what they wanted to see in a executive branch that could control the narrative, how to take control of it, and what systems they needed to put into place. And when I started studying it over the past 6 or 7 months, especially leading up to Donald Trump's inauguration, I realized, oh my goodness, this is probably the most dangerous plan for government reorganization this nation has ever faced in its existence.
Yes, no question about it. And it's revealing itself, but not as a total overhaul. It's done in the the intelligent way of creeping it up behind you so you don't see it coming. You hear little things, and then all of a sudden you're in a different place. And that's the danger of it, because it's a
terrible danger.
Yeah, it doesn't give people the ability to say, hey, because it sneaks.
What's fascinating is Russell Vought, who is now the budget director basically for the Trump administration, and he was that in the first one as well. He helped organize and engineer this. And in a secret conversation that was taped by undercover evangelical donors back in 2024, he pretty much laid out for it. And it was in an article, and I'm shocked that the news media haven't picked up on this article that they did, where he pretty much made clear that from his point of view, we know these policies would never get elected through the regular methods.
Right.
And so we must go through a process to show what is the best way to rebirth America the way we envision it should be.
Correct.
And that's basically their philosophy, which is absolutely 180 from what the diversity, the empowerment of just individuals to be who they are, living in freedom in a federal system without central top-down command. And that's, and when I bought the book, it's like 3 inches thick. It's this huge thing. It costs about $150 to buy.
I've seen it.
Yeah, from the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I looked at my little book, which is like half-inch thick and 188 pages. And I'm like, this is the counter to it. So that's why I created, just out of a tongue-in-cheek, Project 2026. Let's use this book as a way to empower real representatives to stand up and take back the House. And that's my little goal from my little office here in Prosperity, South Carolina, is to spread this news that this is something we can deal with.
Yeah. Well, it's not a little goal, but it can be a huge goal if everybody is aware of it and takes the blinders off. I guess I'm most confused about how Project 2025 ever got there, in the sense that the American public, through the presidential campaign, was made aware of this, and the Democrats used that unsuccessfully, I guess, as a political statement. And yet not too many people latched on to that facet. And I don't understand why that wasn't at the forefront of the entire election, but it didn't seem to be.
Well, it didn't, because one, Donald Trump has such a core loyal following that actually truly believes he has the best interest of the nation at heart.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm here in the reddest district in South Carolina, one of the reddest states. And I have dear friends that truly feel that. So when Donald Trump stands up and makes speeches about Project 2025, half of it's crazy, I know nothing about it, they believe it.
Certainly.
And as soon as he gets in, all of a sudden, the stealth maneuver of all this stuff coming in.
Yeah, but I didn't think there were enough people in this country to believe it. There were many, perhaps close to half the country. I don't know. I think it was more like 40%. But it was somehow just put to the side by everybody else, and I cannot figure that out.
One of my favorite books of all time was Joseph Campbell's Power of the Myth, the television special with Moyers, where he did about it. And I love using that term, power of the myth. And we have a culture of mythology around America that has a sense of invincibility to it.
Right.
And good, well-intentioned people can't believe that this is an experiment that can blow up, which is what it is.
Yes.
This nation that we have of liberal democracy and a representative republic is not a perpetual thing. That's not made by really focused intention, and they really don't believe it can blow up. And so that, coupled with the economy and the systems and the corporatized systems we have in the country, where everybody is just busy doing everything they can to make sure their kids are fed and going to college and living a life trouble free.
Right.
It's I think we're getting ready to get an education. And in one of the articles I did for the European, I talk about the fact that Donald Trump is the education we need, that we require to remember how important it is that we must be diligent at the helm of this ship of state, that we are all actually the ballasts.
Absolutely.
So that's why when I was sitting there in August of 2015 watching the first Republican primary debate, with the first time Donald Trump was in front of people there in a debate like this, and I heard how that debate happened with him calling people's names, and I saw the vulgar consumption of our nation and what it's brought us in that debate, I realized we're getting ready to go into the biggest trial this nation's ever had since, I don't want to say the Civil War, like that's a comparison, but it is a stress test on our governing system like we've never had.
Yes, in a sense it is. The human condition is you have to hit rock bottom before you can correct yourself. It's like alcoholism. I'm enjoying the drinking. I'm enjoying everything. This is the way I want. And then all of a sudden your life gets ruined because of it. And then you make the change. You don't know till you've hit the bottom. And in a sense, this Project 2025 might be a wake-up call. But how late in the game does that happen?
I don't know. And that, there's a lot of trajectories that this could lead us down. And of the choices we have to make. I was hoping the choices would happen on January 6th.
Yes.
And it showed, January 6th showed the chronic rot in a certain core of how certain leaders view how this nation should work.
Yes.
And couple that with the demonization of opposition instead of the concept of the honorable opposition, or people who we're all here on the same team, we just have different ways of calling plays,
right?
To where they're called demon rats and libtards, and the demonization of these people as true enemies of the state. And when you have a president calling the press enemies of the state, you're in a whole new category. And people have now, a whole generation has grown up with that being normalized.
Yes, and
so we have a big test ahead, and there's trajectories. I'm a historian by perspective. I see things cause and effect over centuries. And one thing I know about the human condition, for thousands and thousands of years, human beings organized in larger societies under authoritarian regimes, because it's the most efficient way to organize labor and resources. And the type of nation we had built in that Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia was the most radical thing that has ever occurred in human experience. And the timing and the geography and everything came together to make that right. And it's not a normal condition, and it takes effort to maintain that. And I think we're getting ready to see if we're willing up to the effort, because there's a trajectory where this whole nation could fall apart. I mean, I'm in a place where I've had conversations with people who believe secession is the only way to fix it. And they're saying that in an outdoor restaurant at a table with people listening to them.
Yes. Well, the question is, to me, the first time test will be the next election for Congress, and that's about a year away, and that will start. I think that'll answer both of our questions as to how far is this going to go, or are we going to start making a little bit of a shift the other way. That's to me. That's like that. That's the total bell ringing.
It's a series of bells, and that's definitely one of the most important.
Mm-hmm.
And then how people deal with the next one, which is the presidential election.
Yes.
And what that means. It's interesting when I do a lot of social media work. I see on my YouTube post, I get a lot of folks who tend to say Project 2025 is good for America, and it doesn't matter if Trump wins in 2028.
It's true.
And then so as much as the House and whatever the House happens, let's say, because one of my dreams is that this book can inspire people to say, wow, here's a platform that we could use as a fulcrum caucus in the House of Representatives. I mean, all it takes is 5 to 10 people in the House of Representatives, and you can control it if you all have one direction that you're focused on.
Right.
And compromise some things to get some of the things that I have listed in the book of how to reform the system, because this is all system driven. And the breakdown of the firewalls between certain elements, that breakdown is what's led to where we are now. And my book is about trying to reinstitute some of those things.
Yeah.
But if we get a fulcrum caucus in there, that will change how the House reacts to all of this. But then how the administrative executive branch reacts to that will be the test. Because
yes, true.
2025 is looking to gain so much power that they seek to overwhelm anything the House could do.
Correct. But you also have to overwhelm the American public, and the numbers are still against them in the range of 60 to 75% of Americans starting to see this change, and they're not liking it. Even though, and whether they voted for it or not, they don't. I mean, the crux of America are independent voters, and that's where it's starting to swing back to the middle again. So, and that's also a slow process. So,
it is. And so, what's fascinating to me is to see the old coalition. I mean, if you know our Revolutionary War history, as I know you do, Adams made mention, 30% is for the revolution, 30% is against it, and 30% is not knowing.
Right.
And we've got that now. We have 30% core, 30% total all in opposition,
right,
and other 30% is, huh?
Yeah.
What are the choices? And I guess my book is my attempt to say, here's a choice. And it's not a radical new system. It's just looking at George Washington's maintenance manual that he left us in his farewell address. Look at what he said. Here's how you run the republic, and create policy points around those points. And that's what I tried to put together, and that's what I'm trying to share with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, your book is definitely pointing out 2025. 2026 definitely points out 2025. And if now, it's the 30-30-30 is really 60-30. So, but that's where we're trying to get to. I believe this is all going to make the country a middleist society, which is fine with me. But I think that's where we're going to end up. But someone has to raise the alarm and say, look, this is what's happening. We're not just talking about it. We're starting to experience it. And that's the difference.
Well, and plus the other element that a lot of people were so used to thinking all our traumas coming out of who's elected president, this stuff in Washington, is to rekindle the concept of federalism.
Right.
And just realize folks in Massachusetts versus South Carolina versus California, the regionalism that this country has always had needs to be empowered again under constitutional protections. But and being from South Carolina, it's landmines to say the term states' rights because of how that was poisoned by Strom Thurmond and Wallace and all that leadership from the 60s.
Right.
But I respond to that with the fact of state responsibility, because I'm sick and tired of people in this country holding up the flag of rights without acknowledging the responsibility
Right.
that is inherent in those rights.
Right.
And that's what we have to start empowering. And I think the federal work that Trump and the ICE is doing and the calling out the National Guard will hopefully empower state governors
Yes.
to say, it's time to refederalize this nation and
Yes.
fight back against
Yes.
this. That's a ray of hope right there.
Well, that is what's starting, and let's see how much it builds. That's the key as well. You're right. Trump can be replaced by another Trump any day of the week.
Oh,
So-
they're lining.
Yeah, yeah, no question about it. It's the power line. It's where we cut in front of line of other people. Okay.
Well, the Senate has turned into a green room for the presidency.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I know. I know.
mm.
Okay. The books, has this been released already?
Yes, it is. It's on Amazon, and there it is. Audiobooks and Kindle and the book itself.
Okay, so you don't have to read the whole 2025 in order to figure it out. Read the 2026 that Michael's put out, and you'll start to understand a little bit more. Okay.
Public. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Is there a website that people can visit you upon?
Yes, revivingourrepublic.com.
Perfect. Well, that'll do it for me today. I'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new episode. Thank you to my guest and thank you to you. But until that time arrives, I wish you peace.